He wants to jump
1,000 cars. Sir, you have 1,000 cars.
I don't think I'd attempt to try this stunt.
Or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Too many cars.
car. Roses would be...
Like I put my beer belly on it.
If you can't immediately tell somebody how many cars you have.
You'll really give those uppity yuppies something to think about.
Stay on the bar. Don't go off the bar with your Bronco.
1980 Volvo horns. What's right?
Yeah.
I want to have a man's coolant.
And he's like, oh, I thought it'd be small. It's for a small car. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still an automatic transmission. They're never going to be light.
It's definitely going to have to crash.
Starting off with Brad buying another car.
That's the West.
Internet. You know, is this a Nigerian oil print?
I also wish you drove a tan Camry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's a
horrible,
very
horrible podcast content.
very
Talking about a picture.
inside joke. Welcome to another episode of Auto Off Topic. Hello, Brad.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on when you're listening, Andrew. How are
Yes, to everyone listening through space and time, right?
you? Yes, all space and all time.
Well, you could be listening to this at any time, anywhere, because it's a podcast. So
That's true. That's why I said good morning, afternoon, evening. Just to make them all feel comfortable. So I don't confuse them. If somebody was driving to work in the morning and I said good evening, they might just turn around and go home and get fired, and it'd be my fault, and I'd feel terrible. So I don't want that. So let's not have that happen. So good whatever time of day it is while you're hearing my voice. What's new, Andrew?
Oh, not too much. I mean, it's, I don't know. I guess we could talk about NASCAR because I kind of missed the race because it was Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Okay.
I only listened to the IMSA race on the radio because I was cleaning Stephanie's car. Not because it was Mother's Day. It really needed to be cleaned, but it just happened to be Mother's Day. It was the first day I had to clean it.
Sure, said everybody in unison. A likely story. I guess I'll take care of your stuff because it's Mother's Day. Hey, listen, this Mother's Day, I did watch the NASCAR race, and I went to the junkyard. So it was...
The problem is they're on,
it was...
like, right now that we're into that nicer weather, you can check that off the bingo card. It's like peak time to do stuff on a Sunday afternoon here because they're at like,
Okay.
you know, the NASCAR race here is at like 3 p.m.
Sure.
Or it's what, noontime where you are?
I think the one this week started at noon. Yeah.
So it's like right.
I don't watch them live. I record each race and then I watch it later in the evening usually.
So I watched the recap of this one and kind of bummed that I didn't watch it in real time because looked like it was a good race.
There was some good racing. There was, unfortunately though, there was a lot of lulls in this race. Yeah, the recap is probably the best way to enjoy it. I'm not going to say it wasn't a good race, but there was definitely a lot of time where it was just not much happening. When stuff did happen, it was exciting, but it was definitely, you define it in a recap. I'd say a recap is the way to go. One of the reasons I do record it is I do like, to be able to fast forward to the commercials because then I feel like A, I'm not consuming commercials, which is wonderful, but B, I am also able to cut the race time down into a smaller chunk of watching. So, and when you fast forward to the commercials, they usually do, I know Fox does the side-by-side coverage, so you can still see what's happening, and if there's any passing happening, you can unpause it and watch the passing during commercials. But if it's just all cars driving in a line, I just kind of usually fast forward to the commercials. Yeah. So, the 3.5 hour race only takes 2 hours to watch. So makes it a little more palatable watching the actual race. The only issue is I had to go into my phone and like delete any alert that might give me any kind of NASCAR news because I got a lot of races spoiled. Mm-hmm. But I think I got it knocked. I had no spoilers this time.
But they were doing a lot of throwback liveries, which was pretty cool.
Yes. Do you have a favorite throwback livery?
I liked Byron's Chrome Illusion car.
Yeah, that was the worst Chrome Illusion color, though. It was like the kind of green to tan color.
That's not my favorite. Blue at one point. I don't know.
Yeah, green, tan, blue. I don't know.
I
Wasn't my favorite. There was a brighter colored Chrome Illusion car I liked more.
I only liked it because it was like
I was-
I don't know. That was the only time because Chrome Illusion like didn't make sense anywhere to use it because it was too expensive.
And it's ugly.
Yeah, it was only
Like,
good
as a
on
general
like
rule, it's not
to show
pretty.
off like what PPG could do on Gordon's car back in the day.
Yep. And pace
Yeah.
cars. Because remember in the 90s, they had all those PPG pace cars that were all done in wild paint colors. Some of them the flip-flop colors. There are some flip-flops that are cool, but I just think a whole car flip-flop is usually too much. And it works on a race car because it's a race car.
Yeah, it's like very. I probably liked it because it was very 90s.
Sure.
That's the real reason. I
Sure.
don't
Well,
I don't really like love Chrome
Yeah.
Illusion, but it just made me nostalgic for the 90s.
Yeah, I can see that. I wonder if they'll be able to do because he won the
Yeah.
race, which means that Lionel will make diecasts of it. I wonder if they can do the Chrome Illusion paint and not make it cost more.
They would have done it anyways because they make one of every car, every race.
But they definitely make sure
Yeah.
they do all the race winners.
Unless it's a monster livery. And they're like, nope, sorry, can't do it.
Just a black car for you. Yeah. So my favorite throwback car was Joey Logano's car.
Yeah, what was that one?
So it was a blue nose, white center, and
Yeah.
red tail. So it was done up. It was a Penske car. He's a Penske driver, and Penske used to run AMCs in both Trans Am racing and NASCAR. And the AMC like factory race livery was the red, white, and blue 3-tone, like just bold, big sections of the car in each color. So it was a throwback to the Matador that ran NASCAR in the 70s, which as like the obscure car fan and the AMC fan of the two of us, I appreciate greatly because those are some of the best looking race cars of all time in that generation. Like they were still sheet metal cars. They had just gone from like actually full stock bodied cars to like kind of stock bodied cars, but not anymore. They still a little bit more of a silhouette than the real thing at that point. But they were just a really good looking race car, really aggressive. The big wide tires kind of tucked way up inside and flared out. And it really made a good looking race car. So I liked that throwback because it's one of my favorite paint schemes. Any of the red, white, and blue AMC stuff from the 60s to the early 70s is high on my list. So obviously AMC is not involved in NASCAR anymore because AMC doesn't exist anymore. And I think Logano's car is a Chevy now.
No, I think
it's
it's a Ford.
I can't remember. I'd have to look, but I don't remember. He is a Mustang. Yep, you are correct. So, but anyway, it was cool because I had like I said, the Matador livery, and that's I'm into it.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite eras of NASCAR, 70s stuff. So
I don't think. Yeah, not everybody had. I don't think everybody had a throwback livery though. It was only
No, I was a little disappointed. I was hoping it was going to be like I turned on the TV in 1992, and there was going to be like a Tide car and an Interstate Batteries car and a DuPont car and all the actual throwbacks, but they were more like inspired by throwback liveries. They weren't. Yeah, they weren't actual throwback liveries.
It's not the greatest song in the world.
That was a little bit disappointing. This is just a tribute. Yeah. That was a little disappointing again, but hey, it is what it is. At least they tried something. The Richard Petty car was cool because that's Eric Jones, I think, in the 43. So they painted it like his 67 Plymouth and did just the bottom of the car in blue and the top section of the car in black, like a vinyl top. And they had Kyle and Richard Petty both in the booth during the first third of the race, in the first stage. And they were talking to him about that car when Petty drove it. And Kyle was telling the story about how they ran at NASCAR with it with a vinyl roof on, and it was a mistake because the roof was peeling back partway through the race. And then they brought Richard in, and Richard was like, no. It wasn't a vinyl roof. He goes, we painted the roof black to look like a vinyl roof for marketing. He goes, what happened though is we cut the roof off to put the cage in. And like when they welded it back down, the weld didn't penetrate in the front, and it wasn't the vinyl top blowing off the car; it was the actual top blowing off the car halfway through the race. And that was kind of a cool throwback story, but that was a neat tribute too. But again, it was just a Petty blue car with a painted black roof, so it wasn't a livery per se. But I guess that is the livery because it's what Petty ran at the time. But I don't know, it was cool. And then the biggest thing was the Wood Brothers car, was some pink livery from the 90s. But the Wood Brothers car every week is a throwback livery. So I was like, that's kind of disappointing. Because the Wood Brothers car is one of my favorite cars of all time. It's a white slab side paint, and the whole top section, hood, roof, trunk, and like the side of the roof structure is all done in red, and it has the gold number 21. And they've been running the Motorcraft sponsorship since like 1964. Like it's always been the same car. So that's always been a throwback livery. It's just tradition. So it was kind of like weird to see that one not. In fact, you know, I work at a Ford dealer now, so I have that diecast on my desk because it kind of fits in. Like, hey, I'm into NASCAR, but also here's an actual, you know, Motorcraft liveried car for my desk, so I don't look out of place. I don't have a Chevy there. Can't have the big bosses mad at me, right?
Yeah. So. And then, so now they're coming up. The All-Star race is this weekend at
Wilkesboro.
Yep. The refurbished North Wilkesboro, which, if you looked at some of the pictures, it looks really cool. The before and after pictures, what they did.
Yep. Yeah, it's very cool. That track was on an episode of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Lost Tracks show, right?
I think so. But it was never quite. Yep. It was like shut down. I was just reading about it. It shut down in the late, like 2011, 2010. And it's been kind of in limbo for a while. And then it was like 2 years ago, the North Carolina government signed the budget and had money in for the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Rockingham Speedway, I think, and North Wilkesboro to like restore them or put money towards them because they're like tourist attractions.
Right.
But yeah, and they're kind of doing like speed weeks, basically, like a speed week. Like they're doing a bunch of like support races up to Sunday. Like they're doing everything, I think, from like modifieds up to cup cars. I don't know how the lower.
They're starting with modifieds. Yeah. They're doing outlaws and modifieds. I know they're doing the Window World 75 or 125 and the Harley Davidson 125 or 75. And they're all like the much lower tiers
cars. Is that what I'm thinking of? They kind of look like a NASCAR, but they're like what you'd find at like your local speedway.
Yeah. Which is what North Wilkesboro was for a long time. It was not a Cup Series track. It's years and years ago it was. But, right, but then from then until the early mid 2000s there, it was just kind of a local track. It was no longer a.
But that's crazy. That was they were running cup races up till 96, and it was literally like
because a tiny facility. It was.
Well, think about New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Was July 1993. That was like a brand new facility, right? That's like was like state of the art, and then you've got this racetrack that was running basically the way it was from 1947 till 1996.
Right. Well, except 1947, it was still a dirt track, so at least it had that going for it. It was paved.
Yeah. They had a paving at some point in the 50s or whatever, 50s or 60s, which I also learned from reading about it. It was the fastest racetrack for a while, 73 mile an hour top speed.
Which doesn't seem very fast, but then you realize they're doing that in a 1941 Chevy. All right. It makes it actually fast.
So anyways, going back to like they're running like ARCA cars. One of my favorite sports car drivers, Jordan Taylor, is running a car there.
Yeah, he is. He's doing the full Rodney Sandstorm livery on it, so it looks like an old Jeff Gordon car, right?
Yeah, they did the whole Jeff Gordon DuPont stuff without putting DuPont on it.
Yeah, it says something else on it.
Yeah, and they put Rodney Sandstorm as the driver, which is really funny.
Yep. Yeah. And if you don't know who Rodney Sandstorm is, look up Jordan Taylor, because he has his whole like alter ego, and he'll go to like a NASCAR race dressed as a Jeff Gordon superfan named Rodney Sandstorm.
It's just like kind of unhinged. Like
it's completely unhinged, but it's what we like about Jordan Taylor. He's He doesn't take it too seriously. Some of these, especially some of the sports car drivers, take it so seriously, and he's just kind of like, "We're race car drivers."
But the funny thing is,
we go, we seriously race.
It like got him friendly with like the Hendrick people, and that's how he got the seat in for Coda. And then I think that's how he ended up. They got Jeff Gordon a race in the Rolex 24 like 3 years ago.
Right? Yeah, it could be. Could all be related. Yeah, there's some really cool NASCAR history stuff when you dig deep into it. I know we're actually planning and some more episodes about actual subjects, and we're talking about movie cars and car movies and something the other day, and maybe some kind of NASCAR history one might be a go to dig a little deeper on too, because there's some really cool history in NASCAR.
Well, I want to go to a race again, and it's really annoying that like it's the same weekend as New England Forest Rally at New Hampshire.
I'll fly out here for the final race.
Yeah, maybe. And then it's like, luckily, IMSA is not the same weekend. I think I've talked about this before. Like almost every summer, it's like New England Forest Rally, NASCAR, IMSA. Oh, 1 weekend in July? Let's do that. 1 weekend. That's it. All of the great races in New England the same weekend.
All of the high-level professional races that happen in New England happen the same weekend every year. And it's also the same year as my dad's concourse.
That's also the same weekend.
Yeah. I always got to pick and choose events. So many times I've gone to New England Forest Rally and woken up at like 3:30 a.m. on Sunday at camp and packed up my gear and jumped in the car and raced home to be home for the concourse on Sunday. So it's too much going on that weekend.
It's the Sunday of New England Forest Rally. So I don't know. Maybe it's kind of a long day.
The NASCAR race? Well, I mean, if you stayed somewhere up that way and kind of stayed in between, it wouldn't be as bad. But I don't know. Or just fly out here for the Phoenix race in November or whenever it is. It's after summertime. I know that. It's actually the last race of the year. It's usually where the cup is decided. So could be a cool event. I'm going to check it out this year for sure. I'm not going to miss that.
Try to buy tickets now. Stuff's been selling out.
From what I hear, the Phoenix race doesn't usually sell out, but although actually, you know what, the one did here this year. Never mind. I lied. True. I forgot that.
Yeah, I think. I mean, they had the most people at the Rolex 24 in a long time. I think Sebring was the same. Yeah, I definitely want to try to go to IMSA here because the only problem with Lime Rock is they don't run the prototypes, so you're not going to see those.
Okay,
it's too small. They'll just run GTD and GT Pro,
which I'm more into anyway.
Yeah, but the prototypes are cool because they're really fast.
I've never seen them run anywhere. I've only ever seen vintage prototypes.
Well,
which are still really fast.
Yeah, in like 30 years, you'll be like, oh man, those prototypes were really cool back then. I wish I saw them.
Maybe. I think that the 80s prototype cars are way cooler looking, like the Nissan and the Porsches then.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they're cool. The new ones are pretty cool looking. It's just cool because they get to throw.
I don't hate them.
Everything at them.
I don't hate them at all. I'm partway through a model build of the Toyota TS021. Yeah. So
yeah, that's like 20 years old now. But yeah,
it is. But it has the same style as the current ones. That's what I'm saying. I know it's an old one, but it's still it's a different style from the 80s ones. Is what I'm saying. The 80s ones look like they could be a street car almost, like an exaggerated version of a street car.
So IMSA did, sorry, not Lime Rock, did Long Beach, and then they stayed out west.
Okay.
For Laguna Seca this past Sunday.
Correct.
And
I don't know why I didn't go to that because I was planning on it and I forgot it existed.
Yeah, you mean Long Beach or you mean
both of them?
Yeah, I was like watching Long Beach, like the highlights, and I was like, Brad only lives 6 hours from there. Like we literally went there for like right there for
JCCS.
Japanese car show. I'm like, oh,
yep.
I should go there one year. Because that is supposedly a really good weekend because you get, I don't know if drifting's the same weekend. Okay,
Yes, it
so you
is.
get drifting,
Oh, maybe it's the
IndyCar,
weekend before.
IMSA, and they do like stadium.
You at least get definitely. Yeah, you definitely at least get IMSA, IndyCar, and stadium trucks.
They just
I don't
drifting
know.
might be the weekend before, but yeah, you'll get like stadium trucks
be.
as a support series, and then other stuff. What else they do?
Yep. And they used to do the celebrity race and all kinds of cool stuff there. I don't know if there's that anymore, but they used to. So yeah, no, I would. Yeah, I wanted to go to that, and I wanted to go to Laguna because I haven't been to Laguna yet.
Yeah,
which is also not terribly far away.
So that I watched some of the highlights of that race.
Just...
I was listening to it on IMSA radio, which the first corner, like you remember the first corner from playing Gran Turismo.
Of course, the left.
Yeah, you go over the hill, down the hill, hard left, hairpin. Like the Porsches had the pole, the prototypes, and just both of them just like overshot, and like everybody went around them. It's like, okay.
So they were in the dirt?
Yeah. Like locked up tires, like had to go back in, get tires.
Yeah, Laguna Seca is a little further away because that's NorCal, right?
Yes. Monterey.
That's probably 10 hours or so, I bet. Yeah. That's not quite Long Beach, but it's probably, I bet it's 10 or 11 hours. Either way, it's still not outside the scope of being able to drive out there or hop on an airplane. It's probably an hour flight, 2-hour flight.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I have an office out there. I should try to wrangle that in. Right? One, right? Oh yeah, I can go. I need to go out there for a week. But anyway, we live in a good time for racing. There's good racing.
For sure. I don't know if there ever has been a bad time for racing in modern car history. Racing's always been pretty good if you know where to find it. I think it's more what it is. TV coverage hasn't always been good, but
yeah, I guess that's the
racing
thing.
Has been good. Yeah. Just we live at a time where there's so many cable channels and not enough stuff to fill them all, so some of them get racing now. Like I've been watching the Trans Am series has been played on Thursday nights. They play it on, I think is it Mav TV or one of those weird like motorsports and something, motorsports and vehicles. I don't know what Mav stands for, something like that. But they've been playing the prior weekend's Trans Am race every week on Thursday nights, which is cool to watch too because Trans Am cars are still cool too.
Yep.
So actually, they're going to be at Lime Rock, I think, in 2 weeks.
Memorial Day weekend. Yep.
Okay, so that one will be cool too.
There's Le Mans. Should be in the middle of June.
Correct. Which you're going to?
I'm not going to.
Oh, you're going to?
I couldn't get tickets, remember, because they're sold out. So you just said no.
I forgot. Right, you're doing Nürburgring instead.
Yeah, because maybe
you're doing auto off topic Le Mans.
Yeah, maybe no one will be there because everybody will be going. All the motorsports fans will be going to Le Mans.
So it'll just be you and a bunch of amateurs. Just regular traffic.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure it'll be busy.
No, it'll be cool nonetheless.
It'll be super cool.
Any project car stuff for you, Andrew? Moving on from racing?
No, I just I drove the Montero to Cars and Coffee at Lars Anderson. It was too busy. I couldn't get in, so I just street parked it.
Last time I went there, that was the same issue. I couldn't get in. I had to street park, and I was annoyed because I couldn't find street parking, and I almost left. And I finally found a spot. So, and if I remember correctly, we were there pretty early at that time too. Actually, you were 2 cars in front of me and got in, and I did not get in, and I was double annoyed.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They have limited space, but also they kind of have people that like only want supercars.
But looking at pictures, there was some cool stuff there and definitely some supercars. Yeah. But then there was just like rows and rows and rows of just new cars.
Well, our friend Joe went there. I met him there, but he said he was in line at like 8:00 waiting.
He's also in a new car, so he's also lame. I'm kidding, Joe. Your car's cool. But
Yeah, but there was
I don't know.
like, I mean, I don't know.
It's just not for me.
Enjoy your cars the way you want, but like there was like a dirty, unwashed all track with just like a bike rack on the back and like rust colored wheels.
Yeah, that shouldn't be there.
I mean, it's a car. Yeah, I guess
And it's hard. It's hard to gatekeep, right? Because you don't want to gatekeep because you don't like being gatekept or gatekept. But at the same time, some things just don't fit in. Like I'm kidding about Joey's Camaro. Like obviously, like a 1LE car that gets tracked and is modified is cool.
don't
but
let normal traffic in.
I just get
I
tired
don't
of
know.
seeing. Yeah, but what
Yeah,
defines
exactly.
normal
I don't
traffic,
know.
right?
Because then you have like my all track. If I had it all shined up and I had cool wheels on, I have cool wheels on it. Like, what's the difference? I don't know.
There is no difference. It's just but you look at it as your daily, not your fun car. I think that's the difference, and maybe that's what we're. I really don't know, Andrew. I don't have an answer for you. It's really hard to do, and I think you just need to find the crowd you vibe with and stick with them, and that's just kind of how it has to be.
Because it was like
I like going to the events I like going to because people who are like me go to them.
well, yeah, and it's not like it was a bunch of douchey people or anything. It was just like I guess there just wasn't enough space. I don't know. There was a car next to me on Stowe Drive that I could tell was going there. And when I got in there, they were in there. And I was like, they were only like a minute ahead of me. Like, I don't understand.
Right. I'm sure there is also some, like a spot is saved. And if somebody sees something that they think belongs, they might flag it in. Who knows? I don't know. You're right.
But there was like a Delica in there, but like not space for my Montero. So I don't know.
Yeah, and enjoy the car the way you want to enjoy the car. I guess is the best way to say it, like you said it. Bring whatever you want to whatever you want to bring it to, as long as it's not something that has a hard and fast theme. I guess you're allowed to bring it. It's just go to the things that make you happy. And half the reason I go to any of these events anyway is an excuse to drive my car. It's an excuse to get out in that vehicle that I spend time and effort and money on. And the destination of the Cars and Coffee is more just an excuse to get out and drive the car, to meet friends, to see people I know, to get out and enjoy my car by driving it is really the reason for it. So I'm not, that's why you and I don't go to trophy shows. You know, we're not showing our car to show off. We're going to these events to be with like-minded people. So I guess at the end of the day, we can't really be mad about it. It's just, it's hard to define what makes a good event versus a bad event sometimes. And I don't know. I look at pictures of an event like that, and I'd choose a different event. So,
Well, no, I went because I like Lars
maybe
Anderson.
I would. If I was there, I would.
And Joe was going.
I love the museum.
And I had my son for the morning.
Well, again,
so
that's the whole point right there. You went because Joe was going, and you had your son, so that was your reason to go, and that's totally acceptable.
Would it have been more fun if I didn't have to walk halfway across the park to get in? Yes.
Sure. It's not as bad getting in. It's when you got to walk back to the car afterwards. You're like, ugh, it's so far away. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't want to be a whiny person here, so I'm not going to say anymore. But as far as the actual event goes, I don't know. There's certain Cars and Coffees I just don't go to anymore, and it's because I don't like the crowd. I don't like the cars. I don't care. I don't fit in there.
Yeah, well, you have so many to choose from. That's the other problem here. There isn't that many, so everybody goes to this one.
Yeah. I guess if you want a good one, you got to make it yourself and make it with your own people and kind of make it a hush-hush operation. So,
well, you've got 4 till 4, but that's literally like every weekend. So,
and it's themed each weekend, so usually it stays fairly close to on theme. And it's every weekend, so people don't have to go.
Yeah, that's what you need.
Actually, when it's too hot to go midsummer, that's when I love it because even less people go. So it's good. But like you said, you went to hang out with Joe, and you went to take your son to a car event, and that's the important part of the whole thing. And we were talking about this in the Discord the other day, like, half the reason, like I just said, we go to car shows is an excuse to drive the car. The other half of the reason we go to car shows is an excuse to hang out with friends. So a car show's not fun by yourself.
Well,
you go to a car show by yourself, you get in, you walk around the event, you see every car, you go home, you leave. If you have friends, you spend time hanging out.
Well, the other decent one is the one in Andover, but that just gets like the parking lot's so small, it just gets overrun so fast that you can't even you can't even get in. So
Right.
just stop going because it's like, I don't know. It's
Sure.
It's weird because yes, it's like I have a nice car, so I want to participate by putting it in there. I don't want to just street park it, but whatever. It's a weird thing. I don't know.
No, I get it.
And
then the other issue is some of these events are getting ruined by people who, participate the wrong way. Like we actually went to the Pavilions show here last Saturday, and we're trying to socialize our dog a little bit because, she was a puppy during COVID, so she didn't get a lot of socialization as a young puppy. And we're trying to bring her to like some car events and get her around. And we went there and we had to leave because people started acting foolish. And you know how dogs get around fireworks. Well, they get the same way around burple tunes and crackle tunes and two steps. And it just became obnoxious way too fast. And we had to leave quickly because the dog was nearly having a heart attack. So also annoying, but whatever. That's me just complaining and being an old man, I think. So take that as you will, but don't mess with my dog. I guess I should have thought about it. I should have thought of a fact that it was going to be loud.
Yeah, I don't really take.
It was louder than normal.
Dogs at car shows don't really work, but to each their own.
It's not that I want to take her to every car show. I'm trying to socialize her a little more to make her a little better on leash, And the thought process was, take her there. It's a big open parking lot. There is a little bit of noise, so if she does bark, it won't be the end of the world. And there's a lot of people and their dogs, and we can kind of like work on our
just go to the dog park
socialization, because the problem with the dog park is she's off leash. So off leash, she's wonderful around other dogs. On leash, she gets some of that leash aggression, and we're trying to curb that. But we need to go to a place where there's other people and dogs to have the interactions. So that's the problem. Anyway, one step at a time. We do go to the dog park. It's just different.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that when I've discussed it here. Just being a dog owner for 12 years now.
No, I get you, Mr. Expert over here. What? It is what it is.
Even if you just walk them just around on the leash, they get used to it.
No, of course, and we do. We're just again trying to bring the people factor in. That's all.
Like she barks at people or barks at other dogs.
Anything that comes close to us.
Oh, that's totally normal. Dogs just do that.
But we're trying to make it a little bit less aggressive. That's all.
So the thing is, you just don't. It's like you don't acknowledge it. You just keep walking.
Sure, you're 100% right. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're working on it. We'll get through it.
The problem is when people try to approach your dog, no, please don't. Just.
Yeah, well, it's hard not to because people are people. Yeah. People don't understand sometimes that dogs are. It's like you wouldn't walk up and pet my child. So what are you doing here? Same
Well,
rules
people
apply.
don't have a weird thing about black dogs. So, they'd get close to Enzo and he'd start being aggressive and they get scared. I'm like, well, don't. I didn't tell you to come near him.
Get close. Yeah.
I'm not like I was bringing him up to you.
Yep.
You just got to move back and bring her to the willows, and then that's fine.
Sure. Absolutely what's going to happen. I'd like to drive back out there and bring her there, but unfortunately, the new job doesn't allow for too much long time travel. So, anyway, where were we at? Car shows, cars and coffees. Before our tangent on dogs happened, car shows, cars and coffees. Oh yeah, events. Anything else you done?
No, nothing.
Cool. All right. I've done a few things. Haven't done any events since the Kyushu Club event. Pictures are still coming in from that from various photographers because apparently there's a ton of really good photographers out here too. And they've been posting some really good shots. So if you follow the Kyushu Club on Instagram, there's some neat stuff happening. And some stuff that I've shared as well along my stories from other photographers. But I was sitting at home on Sunday morning, which is Mother's Day. and just doing, Mother's Day things. We were watching one of the kids for the weekend. So we were just kind of hanging out, just doing family stuff. And I got a text message or Instagram message from my friend Christian, who was at a junkyard downtown or down where all the junkyards are. Andrew, it's the one I took you to that had the Volkswagen and F-150 on a spike out front, like a tower.
I don't remember
I
where
don't know
that
if you remember
was.
that one or not.
You can give me some cross
Anyway,
streets and I'll be like, yep, don't know where that is.
Oh, that's why I gave you a landmark, because it literally has a spear out front with a Volkswagen Beetle and an
I've been to,
F-150 hanging like 30
10
feet up.
junkyards out there. They all look like they're in the same area. I don't know.
They're all in the same area, which is why I gave you the landmark of the spike with cars on it.
I don't know.
But
There's some
anyway.
area by the airport that is like all junkyards, I think.
Yeah, Buckeye Road, Broadway, all of that right on there. Anyway, so I get a message from him. He's at the junkyard, and there is a 1982 Toyota Cressida X62 chassis like mine. And it looks pretty complete. It's smashed pretty hard. But I'm like, oh man, I have that issue with my spark on the Cressida that we've talked about here before. I need that igniter. I can't find that igniter. I had gone on the sites that you use for finding obscure Japanese parts, the Amamaya and the Partsuk, and there's one more. But anyway, I used those sites and I found the part on Amamaya for like $230, which I was like, sweet, score, purchase. And then they got back to me and they're like, we can't find it. So that didn't do me any good. So this car's in the junkyard and it was all smashed up. So I know it went in running. Assumedly it was running when it got smashed up. So I'm like, oh, good. That means that, as long as the ignition parts aren't smashed, I can grab that part off this car. So it was Sunday and Naomi's like, no, you have to go get that part. Like, it's not every day this part just shows up, run down there and grab it. All right, cool. So I jump in the car and I ran down there and I grabbed the part. Andrew, this car, I sent you pictures of it, so you already know, but I'll talk about it here. This car was an 82 Cressida. It was the fully optioned leather seat, sunroof, radio with the graphic equalizer, the alloy wheels, cruise control, air conditioning, the whole nine, every option the car could come with. Had 45,000 original miles on it. Car, before the accident, somebody had sprayed it with black Plastidip, which is odd. But under the black Plastidip, when you were peeling it off, the paint was immaculate. Under the hood, every part of the car still had that gold coating on all of the fasteners and everything. There wasn't a speck of any kind of rust or any oxidation at all on this car. The car is stunningly gorgeous. Unfortunately, it looks like it got rear-ended by a Mack truck and then flipped over and slid on its roof. So it had a rough last day. But what a gorgeous car otherwise. And it made me terribly sad to look at it in there and know that it had been wrecked so badly. Because it was just so nice. So nice. Taking parts off of it was just, everything just came right off. That wasn't jammed up and balled up in the corner. It still had the factory Kyoto headlights in it. The car was perfect. Super sad that it's wrecked. But, like they say, one must die, so one must live, right? So I grabbed the igniter for my way not nearly as nice 81 Cressida. And some trim pieces I grabbed, some emblems that my car is missing that are impossible to find. Some of that stuff. I grabbed the radio out of it because I have a friend who's looking for a factory radio for one. A couple other things. I was going to grab the intake tube, but unfortunately it was cracked in the accident because it was hit hard on the right front corner. And that's where the airbox is. And, bent everything and cracked that intake tube. So that sucked. But overall, I got a small little score of parts. I'm trying to get back there because I was running out of time and didn't have a place to put it because the interior in the car is immaculate. And I'm hoping it still is when I get back there this weekend because the leather in the car is literally still soft. It feels like a brand new leather jacket from the store. and it's a dark brown, like chocolate brown leather. Door panels are perfect. Seats are perfect. It's immaculate. So I'm hoping nobody ruins it like they do at junkyards. Just cut it for no reason at all, and I can get back there this weekend with some more time and grab the entire interior out of the car to put in my car, because it would be a huge come up for my car. So my car has the tan cloth, and it's not bad shape, but it needs to be replaced. And tan cloth with tan carpets. This car has the brown leather, but the carpets are still the same tan, and the dash is the same brown, so it wouldn't even look out of place. It would all match perfectly. So I need to get back there ASAP, and hopefully that interior is not ruined, because I'll be tremendously sad if somebody ruins it, because that's what people do at junkyards, right? You ever get a car and they just cut the interior up for no reason? So hopefully it's not the case.
I've never found that.
Oh, I found that so many times. You get cars that the seats are just sliced for no reason. But anyway, couple other quick junkyard notes while I was there. There's a Galant VR4 that's there. Unfortunately, it's already been robbed. Fortunately, it's been robbed by somebody we know, so that's good.
Oh, it's the same.
I don't know why it was in the junkyard. Yep. Don't know why it's in the junkyard, because it was also a nice car.
That was a different
It was
one.
a complete car.
Okay, fine. That's the
It
same
looked
one.
like it would be a running car. Same car. Yep. So it's a black VR4. Our friend Josh, former guest of the podcast, actually has the engine and transmission at his house. Actually has the entire roof off the car at his house and some other trim pieces. One thing I did notice while I was there, and I forgot to go back and grab when I was leaving, the trim on those in front of the rear wheels. That's rare, right?
The little dog leg?
Yeah.
Yeah. People need them.
Okay. I should have grabbed those and I forgot, because they were intact on this car. But I forgot to get them.
That's weird.
So.
There's got to be like so few of these left now.
Yeah. I want to go back next weekend to look at the Cressida parts again. I'll see if that car is still there, and I'll grab those dog leg trims. So I'm sure somebody will want
Yeah,
those.
the problem is mine is pretty complete, so I don't need much.
No, but somebody will. So, and I still have the dream to have another one someday. So they're not too big to hang on to either if I wanted to. What else was there? There was like a 74, 75 Civic. It was kind of cool. It obviously been just baking in the sun for decades because there was not much left of it. But that was kind of neat. There was I'm trying to think what else I even took a picture of. That was really mostly it. Some weird 80s economy cars, stanzas and stuff. But yeah, I don't remember what else there was. I feel like there's one more cool car I took a picture of. Oh, there was a 77 Toyota pickup like mine, but any part I needed for my truck was already missing off that truck. So didn't take anything from there either. So anyway, fast forward to the part of the story you're all waiting for. Got home, didn't put the igniter in the car. A couple days later, had some time, put the igniter in the car. Pretty easy install. Went to start the car, no crank. Not even a crank. Check the battery, 12.08 volts. It's pretty low, but I feel like it should still crank. That's not like, I don't know, maybe it's a cold cranking amp issue. Who knows? Put the charger on it, let it charge for a couple hours, went back out to start it. It did crank over. Still wouldn't start. Cranking. I can smell the fuel, so I know it's getting fuel. Pull the coil wire, put it against something, to make it spark. Crank it over some more, no spark. So still no spark. So I know we tested that coil, Andrew, and all of the tested numbers came out, like when we did use the voltmeter to check the ohms across the positive negative terminals. But there's literally nothing else to check, right? So I ordered a new coil today. So we'll see if that fixes the problem. But I don't know what to do at this point. I don't have much more in me with this. It's like, I need a win. Between this, the Starion, and the Toyota truck, like, I need a win. So I was hoping this would be a win and it would start, but it did not start. So I'm not sure what the next step is. I mean, other than try that coil, but if the coil doesn't work, then I'm really lost. I don't know what to do. We've literally checked everything via the book, the way it's supposed to look, the way it's supposed to work, and absolutely nothing. So we shall see, I guess. The coil will hopefully be here tomorrow. I won't be able to do it tomorrow night because I'm going to a concert, but hopefully sometime on Friday I can take care of it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to make this thing run.
We've gone through everything, so nothing makes sense anymore. It should just run. Like everything we checked out good. It was all like, if this, then this, if this, then this. And it was never that. It was like, if all else fails, it's the igniter. Put igniter in it, nada. So coil is it. And then I have to give up. Don't have to give up, but I don't have much more energy left. And I should spend that energy and time elsewhere at that point. So whatever. I do have somebody who wanted it, see if they still want it or not, but who knows? Should see if I can get the whole 47,000 mile drive line out of the one at the junkyard. Although I probably wouldn't fix my spark problem. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Those are my project car updates. I don't have much else. I haven't worked on anything else. I haven't done anything else. All the exhaust work stuff that I was going to do, I haven't done. So no other updates, no new news. Anything else for you, Andrew? No, nothing. It's been kind of a lame car week.
I bought Assetto Corsa for Xbox.
Okay.
Because I was reading about a guide on the Nürburgring, learning it, and apparently that game has a very good. They laser scan the track, so there's a really good render of it compared to like Forza.
Okay.
So I've been using that to like learn the track.
What are your thoughts?
It's pretty good. The physics are like really good, and it feels really good on the wheel. And it's like $40 for the Ultimate Edition, which is like all the DLCs because the game came out in like 2018.
Oh, it's not bad. Yeah.
It doesn't have like.
It's funny. I was not even aware it was for Xbox. I thought it was a PC only.
Yeah.
Game.
Well, a lot of games came over to Xbox now, especially the new ones, because it's basically a PC. So it's like doesn't have a lot of cars, but the physics are really good.
Does it have some older vehicles? Because I was looking at the stuff I was looking at. Everything was like a hyper race car, and I don't like driving those in games because they're too fast.
There's a couple older race cars, but it's funny. I was watching a YouTube video, and the person was talking about learning the track in a game, and they made a good point. If you use like a really slow car, you're just going to get bored because it just takes too long because the track's too long. So like I've been running it in a basically what would amount to like a GT3 spec Audi R8.
Okay.
Yeah, with like 500 horsepower. But it's like, so I'm doing like, 7.5 minute lap times.
Right. Which is 1/3 what it'll take you in a car.
Yeah, but I'm not getting bored.
Okay.
And it's like it's like really easy to drive. I have all the like traction control on and stuff. It's like, because I'm just learning the line. Like, and it's just not.
Sure.
I tried doing it. There's a first gen Miata, and I was like, up in fifth gear. It's topped out at like 130 on these straights, and you're like, okay,
Just
this
sitting
is
there.
boring.
Well, I disagree. I like using the slow cars, but I'm a slow car guy. So.
In a video game, on the Nürburgring, it's pretty boring. Like if you were using an NA Miata on Lime Rock, where it's short and you can carry momentum, different story. But on a super long track in a video game where there's no like nothing bad will happen, like I don't even have to pay attention.
Sure.
So that like,
and I guess learning the track in a much faster car when you're out there in real life in a much slower car, it'll be a little bit more palatable.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe. But it's just like, I don't know. If you did the actual Nürburgring in a first gen Miata, that would also be fun. But because there's like
Sure.
the real life danger added to it.
Yeah, you lose something with it being virtual and a slow
Yeah,
car.
exactly. It's super boring.
Yeah, I guess I could maybe get with that because I remember sometimes using like even in Forza, something like the a D or E class car in a big track. We don't like doing it. You go to the smaller
Yeah.
tracks to run the slower cars.
Yeah. Or
So,
do you remember in was it GT4 where it had the stupid challenge where it's like you had to drive that like 1812 Mercedes
yes,
on the Nürburgring that did like 12 miles an hour?
I don't remember that particular challenge. I remember driving the patent wagon in some tracks for some challenge. I don't remember doing Nürburgring.
There's something in it that's
That
like
sounds terrible.
I don't think it was like a thing to get through the game, but it was like one of the extra challenges. And it was yeah, you drove like the patent wagon and at the Nürburgring it's doing like 12 miles an hour and it's like,
Okay.
why do they even put this in the game? Like, this is miserable.
Yeah. I remember trying to use that car and it wouldn't even climb some of the hills at like some of the tracks.
Yeah,
so
it was really weird.
I'm sure
Those
Nürburgring
games got
was not fun.
kind of weird after like GT3, if I'm being honest.
I think GT4 was still good.
Yeah.
It's just they were trying to show the whole history of automobiles.
Yeah, and then
Start from the first.
like what else was strange? Oh, I just lost it. I was trying to the last one I had for PlayStation where it was a challenge where you drove the lunar rover for a time on the moon. It was
Okay.
it's just like a little too out there, a little too strange.
Okay. I never got that far. It's never got anything beyond a PS2 as far as PlayStation goes. So I think I ended at GT5 was PS2, maybe 4. Maybe
I think
4,
4,
I don't
and
remember.
it might even be just. I think I don't remember now.
I know I at least had GT4. So I never had beyond PS2, so it must be there.
I think 4 was PS2. Yeah.
I still have the total like love for the game, even though I never went beyond GT4. Like I still love everything Gran Turismo. Like the early stuff was so impactful that it will never go
Yeah,
away.
exactly. I just hope that the new Forza is good. The new Forza Motorsport they keep advertising.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will be. Actually, I just bought some new garage art because I'm changing out some posters that I have that are going to a friend, and I managed to pick up an original Gran Turismo advertisement from the original Gran Turismo game. That's going to go on that wall now. So just kind of that whole, it will always be there. It's a big print ad that had, I think, an Evo 4 or 5 as the like centerpiece of the ad in the full like pixelated Gran Turismo graphics of the time. So that'll be a cool garage piece.
Oh, yeah, and actually GT1 made the US debut May 16th, 1998.
Oh. To yesterday.
Yep.
Wow. Look at that.
I just remembered I saw that.
So it was out for 6 months before I even got it because I didn't get it till Christmas.
Yeah, I got it. I remember getting spring. Like, I was still in middle school. School was getting out, and I got it.
Yeah, you must have got it right away then.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I remember I played your copy of it a bunch with you, and I was like, I need this.
Oh, so that reminds
I need
me.
the PlayStation though.
I have my Palmer track day coming up. So that's Saturday, and I got a windshield banner. It's a Gran Turismo windshield banner for the G20. I don't know if that's cheesy or not.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
I mean, it's just vinyl. I can just take it off. It looks dumb, but I was like, I'll put it on there for a little bit.
Well, it's funny because I always thought about doing a Gran Turismo windshield banner on something. I always wanted either a Tamiya one or a Gran Turismo.
Oh yeah,
one.
Tamiya one would be cool too.
Yeah, but there's another guy here in town that has a Tamiya one on his Corolla, so I can't do it now. So unfortunately, it's not going to happen.
If you ever
I
somehow
don't know if
got
you
like
follow-
an Integra Type R, you do like an HPI one.
Yeah, I'm not getting a Tiger Type R anytime soon. Unfortunately, I wish I was, but I am not. Yeah, I don't know if you follow Wang Chung Tonight on
I think I
Instagram.
do.
He's got a red AE86 coupe that has the Tamiya windshield banner on the across the top of the windshield.
I've even
So-
now I want to find just the Tamiya Square logo. Just put it on the Montero.
Oh, I ordered some. This is a weird conversation because I literally just ordered some of those earlier in the week. You can buy it just right on eBay. Yeah. I ordered some because I want them for I wanted one for the quarter glass of the Colt. And I was like, and one for the wagon because it's such a nerdy thing that only some people would get.
Yeah,
But I'm totally into it.
exactly.
So, yeah, no, I ordered one. There's a guy who makes logo stickers for all the model car companies, and he has like every iteration of them for sale on eBay. Like you could have an AMT sticker if you wanted. So very cool stuff. So I ordered a couple Tamiya ones and a couple of others for the garage door, but the Tamiya ones for the cars.
Yeah, I got to figure out the
sure.
windshield banner because it's, the windshield's curved and the banner is straight that they send you.
You got to tuck it up under the molding.
Yeah, it's
or use heat
I
and
gotta figure it
cut
out
it with a razor blade at the molding.
because it's 6 inches tall and it's 60 inches long. But when I measure the windshield, it's
Okay.
like 48 inches.
Okay.
And then, like, I have, the Gran Turismo part is separate letters. So I just got like a matte black, top part of the windshield thing. And
Sure.
then the letters came from the seller separately. It was like 2 different auctions.
Okay.
And I was like, well, how long is that? Am I going to have to like adjust the width? But I laid those across the windshield and it's the exact width. It's like, okay,
Perfect.
that's cool. But those are straight. So I'm like, I got to figure out how to like give that a gentle curve without making it look weird.
The lettering can go on straight. I think if you look at most windshield banners, the lettering is straight.
It's straight, but it would like follow the bow of the windshield, I guess.
Sure, and that should just happen naturally.
Okay.
You shouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
It's not like it has to curve like a rainbow. It's a curve
Well, maybe I'll try it
on the plane on the windshield.
tomorrow night.
Yeah, you should try it. We get to lose.
Yeah, it's not like they're like $10 a piece.
Well, so I've never had a car with a windshield banner because it used to be the windshield banners were cheesy and they were all cheesy things. But my future Starion project, the one that will someday eventually get done, is just a plain white non-liveried Starion narrow car with the factory Mitsubishi racing banner they had on the windshields of the race cars, which is just like a white windshield banner with red ends on it with the white Mitsubishi logos in them. So, and I've always had that envisioned in my mind to do that.
Which I'm looking at all the Tamiya model kits and all of the Mitsubishi race cars have that same banner.
Yes. Yep. So that's in the time of my brain. I'm always picturing that. I was going to do it on the Eclipse because they ran the Macau Grand Prix races with the Eclipses, and they all had it too. But I never did it. And I was like, no, I'm going to save that for the Starion. So we'll see. I'll get there. Anyway. All right, Andrew. I think that's a podcast.
That is a podcast. Because I don't think I had anything else.
Come follow us everywhere. Discord. Come join us on Discord, please.
Mm-hmm.
We got a pretty good group there. It's a lot of fun. It wastes a lot of time in my day, and I'm here for it. So I like it.
A lot of
enjoying it immensely.
Chainsaw enthusiasts.
Yeah, as of yesterday, it was a lot of chainsaw talk. I did not participate because I have no experience with the said chainsaw, but it worked out because today somebody on there had a tree fall half down their backyard, so they knew some local friends that had chainsaws, so they can get it cut down now.
Yeah.
So you never know what you're going to find. But yep, Instagram, follow us there, Auto Off Topic. Follow us on Twitter, Auto Off Topic Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at TSISS350. Follow us both, posting at Parked on the Block for our finds of cars for sale. I got a neat old race car going up tomorrow, so that should be a cool one to check out.
Cool.
Probably already up by the time you hear this, I'm sure. And Parked on the Block on Instagram, as well as Parked on the Block minus that last K on Twitter. Andrew, where can they find you?
I am Race and Anger on Instagram, Race and Anger on Twitter, and yeah, that's kind of it. Go for it.
Excellent. Come follow us.
All right, cool. As always, keep cars analog and aim for the roses.